Hey.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing okay.
Yeah.
No major complaints.
Okay. Is this like no major complaints, but here's my 150
Nah,
list
I'm
of,
good.
oh, okay.
I'm
That's
good.
fine.
I'm just not here to say that everything is amazing.
No.
I mean, who can at
No.
this point in time?
Yeah. Is something going on?
No,
No.
just like business the past year has been super slow. It's just like,
Tell me about it.
I am not alone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which doesn't negate the impact to you, of course, but yeah, it's been nutty.
Yes.
I hoped that with the election things would start smoothing out.
Same. Everybody did. Yeah.
And then weirdly
They didn't. And then they got worse.
didn't. And it got worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
bummer.
I've got a client who wants to do a new project and has wanted to do the new project since December of last year and just won't do it. But won't stop it. Like won't say, okay, we're not doing it.
Won't just like let you off the hook. Yeah.
Right. Even though technically I'm not really on the hook because nothing's been signed. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
But like you're having conversations about it. So it's like, yeah. No, Greg Story and I had the same thing last year. We were talking to a company about a really big project, and then they were like holding off, and then all of a sudden like everything blew up in their organization and left us with nothing. And we're like, we've been fucking talking to you for like 6 months.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. So frustrating. So that's happened a few times. Now just like I'm seeing a slow trickle of consulting work come in. Like I have one person I'm coaching now, and I just sent out a contract this morning for like a smaller project. But on that I'm calling it a smaller project because I sent a proposal for what they wanted, which is like standard for me.
Yeah.
And they came back with less than half of the budget. And I was like, okay, I will do less than half of the work and you'll get less than half of the results. But if that's what you want, that's what we'll do, just to get a little something. But yeah, it's a bummer. It's not picking up the way that I thought it might. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go work somewhere else.
I have seen, for me, I've seen leads pick up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really the leads are coming in a bit faster, or more frequently, I should say. The conversations are good. They seem interested. Proposal goes out. Hello?
Yeah.
Is anyone there?
Which is just so rude, right? Like, it's just like, if you
not
can't
even
do
a
it,
thanks for sending me the proposal. Like,
oh yeah, that's rude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an actual client ghost me not last year, but the year before, after doing a full project with them and then making me jump through all these hoops to write a scope of work where I brought someone on as a subcontractor, completely ghosted me. It's just rude. Like, who does that? And like, I actually emailed him and said, at this point, I would never actually want to work with you.
Yeah.
Which is probably not professional, but
well,
who the fuck cares?
You're setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, totally. Yeah. That's what you have to do. Yeah. But it's definitely feels like an every man for himself sort of economy, work-wise at least, like as a consultant.
I don't like that.
No, me either. And it's not going to change for a while, I guess. So we'll see. See what happens.
So what are the ideal projects for you?
I like coaching, but I've been doing more kind of like diagnostic and assessment work for agencies, strictly around delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And those are usually good and usually turn into more work. I've done the fractional leadership thing before. I did it for about a year with an agency and didn't love it because I didn't like the agency. But I had another client, basically, I was working with them for 2.5 years and they offered me a part-time role.
Mm-hmm.
This was last summer. And I was like, I will take that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Because I was seeing this slowdown coming. So that worked out pretty well. So at least I have that. And then anything else I have on top of that is, I'm not where I wanted to be, but it's better than nothing, So anywho, sorry to start on a negative note. I didn't mean to do that.
There's no right note to start on.
True. Very true.
It's yeah, I think 5 times, I think, over the past, when was the first time? 2019 maybe. I've done the fractional thing. Except for one, I've really liked it.
Mm.
And I think the one that didn't go as well as I had hoped it would, I always feel challenged, or I feel challenged when I'm working with people who don't see the parts that they're doing as part of a whole system of delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And when you try and have these conversations about like, hey, what promises are you making, either to your customers or to your internal cross-functional people, and how are you delivering on those promises? Like, if they're really sort of, I don't know, I want to say cagey about it, it's like, well, I'm doing my own thing over here. It's like, no. Like, I mean, you may be doing some things that are really great that maybe other people need to start doing, but like, no, you're part of a system here. And
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess, a lot of teams are having to shift because of all the changes that are happening. So in my head, it kind of makes sense that people might become a little bit more that way because like protective of your domain.
Yeah.
Because your domain, feel like you need to defend it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, this is my thing. Nobody else can know how to do it. So I retain ownership of that thing to preserve myself. Like that kind of makes I mean, I don't like it, but the idea that people are like that, like I can see why.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember like in probably 2005 or something like that, I was coming to the end of my first like job, professional job. And I think I joked at one point that my first book was going to be titled "Everything I Need to Know About Corporate America I Learned from Studying Feudal Europe," because it just felt like there were a bunch of fiefdoms, and we were all the serfs that reported to the lord, and they were always battling over resources and who was in charge of what. And then I felt like we kind of got out of that for a little while. And now it feels like we're going back into it again, and for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But
efficiency.
Yeah, efficiency lacking effectiveness.
Right. Yeah. Efficiency without any like real forethought is what it feels like for me on a lot of the things that I'm seeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today?
Look at our velocity. It's great.
Yeah, right.
Huh?
What are we? Oh, okay. Are we recording already?
Yeah, we've been recording.
Oh, we're already recording. Oh, so we're just like talking. Okay. That's how this works. Okay. Cool. Okay. What else do you want to talk about?
I want to talk to you.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about what's important to you.
What's important to me?
And if you're like, I want to talk to you about watercolors, and then that's where this conversation's going.
I have a few things on my mind. The one thing I've been talking about a lot. So here's the other indicator that I think things are starting to come back. I have, and for me, this is a lot. For a lot of people, it's not. I think I have like 5 or 6 conferences between July and October.
Wow.
So the fact that there are conferences happening, like they're not all online, I think it is a big deal. And I mean, my world is like project management. I am seeing a change, a shift in that kind of landscape. So I wrote Project Management for Humans in 2016. It was published in 2017 on Rosenfeld. And I think it's like sold pretty consistently since then. When I wrote that book, I really wrote it because I felt like nobody was writing about project management from a more of like a human-centered perspective, and every project management book that you picked up was just so like heavy on frameworks and tactics. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I think that stuff's necessary, but there's the whole human side of it that's not really anyone's engaging on. And also in our industry, like in creative, there are a ton of people who have to be a project manager without the project manager role, right? Is that like an airplane going by?
It's a warplane. Just a minute.
There you go.
As the crow flies, we are about a mile and a half from the airport or so, and there's
Okay.
a National Guard, and they've got F-14s, and they fly sometimes.
Huh. I have a question. Do you use your AirPods as your mic also?
No.
Or do you have an external mic? Okay. Because I have those, but I don't know. I don't like having
They're
something
terrible
on my
microphone.
head. Oh, okay. I never even tried. I just assumed.
I mean, relative to this, they're a terrible microphone.
Yeah. So yeah, I was saying, I wrote that book because like people, first of all, there was lots of disrespect with project management in our industry. So I wanted to write like the book for our industry. And I also felt like any books I picked up just weren't resonating for me or like the people that I worked with. So I wrote that book. It's been out since 2017. I felt like I never really did much with it. Like I think I did like a conference talk one year. I do a lot with it personally. Like in my coaching engagements, I've taken people through it. I ran a book club for the first time this year. It was just a cohort, like a 12-week cohort where we did a chapter every week. I was able to kind of like build on the content and get feedback on the book at the same time because I want to write a second edition. So I'm currently talking to Rosenfeld about a second edition of the book. And I think it's really well timed because I'm seeing more interest in the human side of project management. PMI has started to introduce, or not started, but they introduced more soft skills training and stuff in their content, which they never had, which I think is fascinating. Agile. I don't know if you've heard about like what's happened in the agile world, but like agile roles, agile was like a big buzzword in our industry. And a lot of large corporations went through an agile transformation where they hired agile coaches to come in and stay on teams and lead teams and, work through delivery processes. Now they're that was probably like 2010-ish. They're like 15 years on. And these organizations are now like, okay, agile transformation's over. We're getting rid of agile coaches and the leads, the people who should have trained everyone on how to be agile. So the agile world is kind of a bit shaky. So they reached out to me and I was a part of their programming team for their conference this year, Agile 2025 in Denver. So I helped program a track called What If They Don't Want Us, which is basically a more human-centered kind of like how to rebrand yourself, how to really make your way through this and build and maintain trust with the team too. So I'm loving that like the more human side of what I do is becoming more needed and more recognized. Like that's very exciting to me. In the meantime, I don't know if you've seen, like my world is mostly agencies. It's definitely less in-house, though I do work with in-house teams. There was an article, I just happened to find it, an article in Ad Age about how McCann, the large agency, traditional advertising agency, is seeing that they're getting less agency of record work. So less big open budgets that they're planning and just like winning year over year. They're going more
Right.
project based, which obviously this is a sign of where we are, right, in our economy, but also in the industry, because I think the third thing that I want to talk about is AI. It's a big thing here. But McCann basically said we're getting more project-based work, which means we're changing our business model and we are going to collapse the account management function into project management. So they're now, for this huge agency, combining account and project management. So I wrote an article about that, just like a hot take, essentially. And I decided to publish it on LinkedIn and it went crazy. It kind of, I guess one would say it went viral. Like for me, it was viral. I think my LinkedIn impressions were up to like almost 205,000 at the end of the day. And then like the number of reactions, comments, and posts were just off the charts. So I turned that into a little presentation. I gave a presentation over at the Bureau, and that has been helpful. I also, one of the conferences that I'm speaking at this year is David C. Baker's, does a seminar for account and project management. So I'm handling the project management part of it. So that's kind of cool. So it's nice to see all these things kind of come back. But yeah, I think AI is part of that whole thing. Like that's kind of what I was getting at earlier when I was like productivity, right? Like people are looking at the opportunity of AI and trying to say like it's going to create efficiency, which I think is really short-sighted, especially at this point in time. I think there are definitely some places where AI is helping project management. I think for project managers, AI can help you to reduce a lot of the, like, for me, like the annoying kind of behind the scenes ticky-tacky admin work and let you focus on people more, which obviously I think is very important. It helps you get more done. Fortunately, I think I still see so much fear of AI. And when I see that, I just think, well, you haven't actually used it. You know what I mean? Like if you're that scared that AI is taking your project management job, or if you think project management can be done by the computer, like I think you're very wrong. So I just find that interesting. But those are the things that are on my mind. There's one more thing, but it's more personal. So if you want to talk about any of those things.
Well, they all sound very interconnected to me.
They are.
Yeah, it's you're telling me, you're giving me your list, and you brought up the AI part, and the thing that initially came to mind, and then you sort of addressed it, was like there's an aspect of it that feels like we get to talk about tools again, and it's like, no, go back and do more talking about people. It boggles my mind in a way that so much of our work is about negotiating and placating to some extent, and just getting people on your side or keeping yourself open to being changed by the data you come across, hopefully. And that it's 95% about getting along with and sometimes around people.
It's true. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
relationships are
we
everything.
get to have a tool conversation again. It's like,
Yeah.
But to your point, like you brought up, like, maybe the AI can handle some of the administrative stuff so that you can focus on the people part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how is that like manifesting for you?
Well, first of all, within the realm of project management, every tool that people are using, like if you want to talk about tools, they're all incorporating AI features, because why wouldn't they? Yeah. You know what I mean? So that does increase productivity. I don't think, to take it back to the example of McCann, like the idea of collapsing an entire function that historically has served as strategy and growth for an agency, like inside sales essentially, and putting that on project management that has been historically delivery focused, timeline budget focused, it's going to be tough for them. Like I, in my career, have been that hybrid accountant project manager in a small boutique shop, like at Happy Cog. That's what I was. We hired only hybrid account and PM. We also only worked on projects. We did retainers, but that business was much smaller. I think your boutique agency of 2025 is balancing retainers and big projects at the same time, and that's always going to be a struggle. But the fact that McCann wants like those people to carry on with 15 accounts and absorb that work, like I don't know the details of what's actually going on there, but all of it just sounds a little scary to me as someone who has built a team of hybrid account / project managers. It's a hard person to find, because that is someone who has to be strategically minded, sales focused, but also focused on the details and being able to waver between that is a great idea and that is over budget all at the same time. Like it's setting people up for awkwardness in a scenario where the history is what it's been, right? Like that's a huge reset, not only internally, but externally to their clients who are expecting account managers to drop everything, talk to them about their problem of the day and come up with a solution for it. Like a PM is not necessarily suited to do that all the time. Some of them are.
Right.
My experience, a lot are not.
Right.
So again, like that brings me back to like the focus of my book feels really relevant for these times. So I'm glad that I'm exploring a second edition, potentially like a totally different title. So we'll see. We're in the middle of those conversations, but yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm also excited to see where AI actually does go. I have daughters, they're 14 and 16, and I hear stories about AI and kids using AI in school. I have one daughter who is very much anti, very much like, go do your own research, go do the work that you need to do, which I'm proud of that. And the other is a little bit younger. I don't think she really cares as much. But I potentially see this generation as calling BS on all of the stuff that's happening now. Like, look at their usage of social media. And then I hear that combined with like just this anecdotal reaction to AI. I'm like, okay, maybe this is the generation that's going to change the shape and direction of technology and make it good, because it doesn't feel like it's very good right now to me.
No, there are some interesting things. The stuff that I've seen, I think in a way, all of it's interesting. But is it useful? And I think, if you're talking about using a system that is trained on internal data that is for, hey, is that cancer? Not cancer. Like, help me out here. Or at least, partner with me as a system to help me.
Because you can't trust the yes or no answer either way. Yeah. That's the scary part.
But that is something through repetition and feedback from humans who know what they're doing. And not that all oncologists get every call right, but that system will self-repair over time and get better. The stuff where it's just like my new search engine is now highly conversational and it compliments me on good questions. Like, okay, that's not necessarily terrible, right? But again, like I can't trust the answers. Sometimes it doesn't matter if I trust it, right? Because I'm just, I'm stuck on something. It's like, give me 5 words that are synonyms for this word.
Right.
Because I'm just like blanking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have a real reason to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't found a great use case for it. The use cases that are sort of adjacent, which is around like research and going through transcripts of interviews and saying what are the salient points that keep cropping up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like starting to build the data points for generating insights from research. Potentially there's something there. I haven't used it for about a year. Well, maybe
I
about
think
9
there
months now,
is
but
something there. Yeah.
yeah.
I think there's something there, but again, it still makes me nervous. Like my point of view is you can use AI for research, for brainstorming, for drafting. It's never, no matter what you give it, it's never going to pull back what you gave it 100% with 100% accuracy. And that's the scary part. Even if you're trying to take a shortcut and have it analyze some of your data from like, let's say like survey data, I still don't know that I fully trust it. And I'm not sure how you can spot check it to make sure that it's correct. I'm hesitant to use it in some of those cases. Where I think it's really cool is, and I've used it this way, is like, I have this idea, help me poke holes through it, right? Like, tell me what about this is good, and giving it a lot more information than like, I have this idea, telling it, what's your role? Like, what role do I need you to take in this project? What do I actually need you to do? Being very specific with it, like it's literally your assistant or intern, that's been really helpful and gratifying. Still, it only gets you part of the way, right? It will always tell you you're doing an amazing job. Always. Like
Yeah.
it's why I laughed when you said that before. Like, compliment you on your question. Like, yeah, okay, thanks. I don't really need that. I need honesty. And it's a robot. Robot's not going to give you anything. It's not giving you real emotion. It's faking it. It's telling you you're great because it wants you to keep using it. It's how it's trained. So it's interesting. But yeah, I'm into it. I use it for sure. Why not? So on the team that I'm working with at Image Conscious Studios, I'm encouraging everyone to try it, not for the sake of our business and using it day to day for efficiency, but for the sake of their careers. Because if you are not invested in learning AI now and keeping up with it, you're going to be a dinosaur in a few years. So I have like 20 to 30-year-olds in my team who are just like, nah, I'm not into it. I'm like, you should try to get a little bit more curious. Like, think of this as just like another tool in your toolbox that you can use, that a lot of employers are going to start adopting more heavily as it gets better and better. Why not get in now and just learn what it's all about and how you might be able to use it? Experiment, essentially. There are reports coming out too. Even anecdotally, I've heard from a couple of people about companies telling them that they have to use AI and they have to figure out how to use it, like where to use it, which is just like asinine, right? Like, imagine the leader just saying that. Like, that just to me is proof that you're not using it if you're not providing your team with ideas already. It's kind of like saying that, the end is near, but.
Well, I feel like that description is, and be clear, I'm not challenging you.
Yeah.
But I feel like that description is a little synonymous to the people that you're working with need to start experimenting and learning so they're not left behind. I think that that's a real fear from leaders within companies, wherever they come from, is this pressure to have an AI solution, because if they don't have one, they're not going to be seen as relevant in whatever market that they're in.
True. I
Even
think the way
if
that I
what
don't
they
disagree
are
with
making
you.
is, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't disagree
Yeah,
with
you
you at
better
all.
not. No, I'm just kidding.
I think the difference is I'm saying I'm looking out for people. I'm not saying like
See, it's
find
about people, right?
Yeah, it's about people and making sure that they're keeping up, because I do think we are moving into a space where being a generalist is going to be a lot more valuable to companies, and knowing technology is going to help you to be more of a generalist. Particularly AI is going to help with that. So this is me saying, hey, get curious for the sake of your own future and your own career. Whereas the scenario I'm describing is the company from the top is saying, we must start using AI to be more productive, which means to cut more costs. That's really that's the scary thing, right? Is like they're cutting costs for the sake of cutting costs. And that's what the McCann thing feels like, though they are coming from a place of, we're not receiving agency of record work, so we had to figure out a way to make this work out. And I've seen one more agency say they're doing that. They collapsed roles. So I think that, this stuff is just going to happen more and more. And I think what we're seeing is just major shifts in the way that we work and the types of jobs that are available to us, particularly in tech. I have to think that it spreads further than tech, obviously, but it feels like our industry has been hit the worst over the past, year and a half, 2 years. I mean, the conversation of us just talking about like work. Yeah, I think, think about everything from the collapse of Twitter to Doge to companies completely gutting departments over the past year. Like design and UX are on alert big time. It's weird, especially because we kind of came up through the creation of UX. Like my first job, I was totally a UX designer. It was like one of the things that I did. And I didn't even know what project management was back then. My job was a generalist job. I was an interactive new media producer in my first job at a startup. So we saw the advent of all of these things. And now we're just starting to see, I think with social media, we started to see like the negative impacts of the innovation. And I think we'll see more of that with AI eventually. But I don't know. I'm trying to embrace, I think with social media, I was definitely like, no, not doing that at first. And then I went all in on it. Same with AI. At first I was like, no. And then I was like, well, why not be a little more educated on it before saying no.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, maybe. Right. Instead of no.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, it's funny. Like I'm watching, like you said, these companies who are downsizing in search of more profit. I'm looking forward to when these AI tools that they're using, when the bill comes due, because right now they're using them all at a exceptionally high discount. And like if OpenAI, for example, ever wants to actually make a profit, if they start charging what it costs, hey, maybe that isn't as efficient, or we don't want to pay for that efficiency, right? We do just want to rely on people. So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. But yeah, I don't know. I think generally speaking, you're right. I think it's worth, and he says this being someone who doesn't have an open mind about it, it's worth having an open mind about how these tools, I'll just say broadly, might serve a purpose.
Absolutely.
And experimenting with those, because, there's going to be a lot of things that it's like, it could do, no, it can't do that, or it shouldn't, right?
Right.
And there's going to be some things where it's like, oh yeah, all right, this makes sense. I think I'm always going to go back to AI, ML, LLM. I think I'm always going to go back to, I'm going to be far more comfortable working on systems that train on what is essentially proprietary data rather than train on data that hasn't been paid for.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that... Is that true? I started to say a sentence and I realized I don't think it's true. But I'm not sure. But there's an app called Dovetail, and it's for, you upload video of your research and it does transcription, and you can tag the conversations and pull out quotes that match a tag or whatever, and then generate insights from that. But they have, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, I can't remember when, but they introduced an AI aspect to things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what they trained that on. But my guess is that for an organization that's really all in on Dovetail and is putting a lot of data into it, they could be training it on their own stuff. So again, I think that there's, like I said before, I think there's something to that can be useful, especially if it's, I'm one of those people who's hated by some people in the industry of UX design, whatever, where I'm more on the democratization side of things. So, like, I would want a PM or an engineer or whoever to be able to query the system and say, I've noticed anecdotally that this is happening. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Or where else are we seeing this? Or what spaces haven't we investigated enough?
Mm-hmm.
As not, here's your answer, good luck. It's, here's your answer, now go have a conversation with the UX people, right?
Right, like an AI tool that actually prompts people to be human.
Right.
To not forget that there are people in the world that might have a differing approach or opinion. Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, here's one way you could look at it, but I highly recommend you go talk to so-and-so because they led the projects that this data comes from, and they might have an insight that could be helpful. Actually knowing who the people are in the company, connecting people. I think that would be even better.
The idea of uploading interview files to a software makes me so nervous. Like, imagine you're doing, like, I don't know, stakeholder interviews, and like, I hope you're disclosing to people that you're going to be using AI, and you know that nobody is, right? But I wouldn't want, like, let's say we had this conversation, you uploaded it, like, there's stuff in this conversation I wouldn't want AI to know about me. Right? Like, that's the other thing. It's like, this is actual data. I think about that all the time, which I think, I mean, most people are, but yeah, when you're using a tool like that, they better have really good privacy standards.
Well,
if not, they're collecting
right now,
data, and they're going to use that data long term on a bunch of different things. Like, it's an interesting business if that's their model.
Yeah. And that long-term stuff will, I think for most people over time, it will become depersonalized. However, it used to be that we would destroy records after the project was done because of privacy. It is, yep, you sign
absolutely
the waiver, you're consenting to be recorded. Our promise to you is that when this project is over, we will delete all your data, but we need it for this project because, we need it for this project. And I can guarantee that for the most part, that's not happening anymore.
No.
It's staying put.
And they're uploading it to AI. And likely, I mean, that even just raises the thought to me of, should companies be like companies like agencies, right? Like, should they be disclosing their use of AI in their process and where it happens, what kind of data it's being fed, how it impacts the client? Like, yeah, I would want to know. The thing that is more interesting to me is, if someone says they're using AI in a certain way, will a client or potential client start to devalue that work? Because we know that, like, in, let's say, in web design or just in design in general, there are a lot of clients who are not educated on it and just think, can you just do that thing? It's easy, right? Devaluing it already. So then tell them that AI is used somewhere in the process, and then they're going to think, oh, well, they just like hit a couple commands and they came up with this thing, which we all know, insiders know, like, that's never how it's going to work. I mean, I guess there are people out there who are generating designs and websites with AI, but they're not the quality and functionality that you could get from an actual human team. But yeah, it brings up all of these kinds of thoughts. I think it's just really interesting. My friend Greg Story actually just wrote a book and self-published. It's about AI, and it is basically how to collaborate with AI. Like his whole thought was, people are using AI like a vending machine, but if you actually know how to use it well and prompt it, you can get so many better results and you can collaborate with it rather than having it do your full job. It's a really, really good book. And of course, I am blanking on the title. I'll have to tell you what it is. Have you heard about this? Do you follow Greg?
I have not heard about this.
Yeah.
But then again, it could be because Greg hates me, and no, he doesn't.
Yeah, he did. Well, he does. He told me
that.
He
does. That's right.
He told me all about that.
Yeah. Well, I wronged him. It's my fault. But
his book is called Creative Intelligence. Don't ask AI, think with it.
There we go. It's a good title.
Even the title is like, makes you think like AI is more than I thought it was. I think that's the problem. People think automation and automatically think, oh, well, it just does everything for you. That's not how it works. It's not really how it works. It's another tool, like you keep saying.
Yeah, it's just another tool. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny too, because like speaking of books and self-publishing, like I used AI to do a picture book in 2022. And now I know more. And like at some point I want to have a human redo the art for that book. Not draw the pictures that are in the book, but like reimagine it. But I think that's the thing. It's like it's still, and maybe Greg goes into this. It's like, okay, yes, learn to use this thing as a collaborative partner, right? On something you're investigating. But I'm still going back to like, how do I want to say this? Every time I search on a search engine, or if I toy with using some AI thing to investigate something, that's an opportunity cost of connecting with somebody, a person, and engaging with them. I like, again, like I feel like we go through these patterns of, and I'm royal weeing here. Don't say it like that. That everyone gets so excited about this new tool, and it's like all in this new tool, and all of these tools, smartphones, televisions, like we can go back, but all this technology, it's so isolating, or it can be so isolating. It can be really helpful and useful too, and enjoyable. But I can have a conversation with a bot, or I can talk to a person. And really, right now at least, like I just get good at prompts. But sometimes you need to go through 20 or 30 prompts to get to the point where you're like, what question am I even trying to ask?
Yes, totally. Or even just like, this isn't going to give me what I need it to give me, right?
Yeah. If I called you and I said, I think this thing, which I can't use words to explain except these 12 words, you'll go, do you mean this? Because you're able to
actually thinking.
And,
coming from a point of view where I have lived experience, not just a Google directory of keywords. Right. It's really what it comes down to. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think that's the thing that I worry about is the further isolation of human beings, especially with younger generation, like I think.
Yeah. Who are already massively isolated for a number of reasons.
Absolutely. And tools like this only get them further down a path of isolation and closed-mindedness because they're not learning the way that they need to learn. So that's scary. Like they're, from accounts I'm hearing, again, from a teenager in high school, kids aren't reading as much. They're using AI to do their homework. They're using AI for papers. And every story comes with, like, there's always a funny story and there's always evidence of, they used AI. I'm not out there blanket saying every teenager is doing this, but it's happening, and adults are totally doing it too. I mean, to the point that there are conversations about the AI tells, it's like, yeah, they're out
Which
there.
is rough because I actually like using M dashes,
But
but
yeah, me too. It
apparently I
makes me
need
so
to.
mad. No,
Yeah,
it uses
yeah.
them, but it overuses them. It definitely overuses them. But I like them
Someone
too.
told me I use too many parenthetical remarks in my writing, so I'm like, well, all right then, I'll use M
I'll use
dashes
M
instead.
dashes instead. Now use too many of those.
Yeah, yeah,
Now you'll move to commas. Use too many of those.
exactly.
It's funny. Yeah, it's an interesting topic. I'm going to say, like, it's not one that I'm like so invested in, but I do think, like, I'm not out there like Greg trying to be like, or not that he's trying, but like a thought leader in AI. Like, it's just not for me. But I want to know what it does because I want to keep pushing people on maintaining the human aspect of a role, no matter what you're doing, and remembering that like people always need to come first. And yeah, even to your point of just like gut checking activities, or like pulling people into your process, even if you are using AI, like maybe get it to, if you need help brainstorming, great, use AI to start your brainstorming, and then maybe take it to a small group of people to vet ideas and get, take you to the final option. And I bet you that final option changes because once humans get their hands on it, it becomes something that hasn't existed already, which is what AI is going to
Right.
give you anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Well, see, but you're the thought leader on humans working together to get shit done.
Sure.
So that's your role.
That's my thing. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm most
yeah,
interested in. And I think a lot of that just comes from like that's just who I am. Like, I think I have always, like, coming out of college into that first job as a new media producer or whatever. I was an English and fine arts major. So I took that job thinking I was going to be more of a writer, which I was, but I ended up doing everything from directing motion caption video shoots to writing flash movies, creating web, like that job taught me everything about the internet. But I maintained like the writing aspect in everything I've done in every job. If I wasn't writing as a part of the job, I was doing it on the side. And it's always been about people and utilizing people. Cause I think that's how I've learned. Do you know what I mean? Like I haven't been the
yeah,
person who's learned tools and technology through Skillshare or all of the online classes. Like, I learned it either on the job or someone sat down and made time and sat down and taught me something.
yeah,
And I think that's important just developmentally, to get to know people, to get to know your place in things. Like, just, I don't know, there's something about the hands-on aspect of it that I really like. Same thing with conferences. It's like the same difference. Like, COVID kind
yeah,
of made us stop getting together in person. Now budgets are lower. It seemed like less people have money to go out to these things, but they're still worth going to. Like, the first event I went to that I traveled to, I think was last year. And it was so amazing to see people in person that I hadn't seen in a few years. Even people that I had stayed in touch with in this realm, right? Like Zoom calls or meets or whatever, like quick coffee calls. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just not the same as actually being in a space with someone. You can connect so much better. It feels so much better. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, I'm a little bit like embracing the world that we have moved into, but also like raging against it at the same time, knowing that, like, personally knowing what I need. Right. And I think that that's really what it comes down to, is all of us need to kind of build the world around us that feels good for us, or engaging in the ways that we feel good. I do worry that like the future generations are all on screens all the time.
yeah.
Like the Jetsons. Remember, we thought the Jetsons was going to happen when we were like this age?
Right, right, right.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Where's my damn flying car?
Right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like potentially this younger generation, a lot of them aren't going to get the opportunity to be able to compare. to have this, what we're doing right now compared to, maybe this is over the top, but I'll just say it for the example of going to South by with 35,000 people. And that's too many people for me. I liked it back when it was like sub 10,000. But, being in that space where there's just a lot of people who came there for their own personal reasons, but for a shared
experience. How many people would go and not
right.
even have a ticket to South by? I did it. I did it one year, like the last time I went, because it was just great to connect with people in the industry, and you'd still end up learning something and meeting new people and all. Yeah, it's great.
Making connections and yeah.
I would love an experience like that again.
I don't know where I stand with this stuff anymore, because I've been like, I think the last time you and I were in the same physical space together was definitely Process Camp, if you remember that.
Wow.
In Bend. That was in 2017, 2018, maybe. But it might have been, there was a Bureau Summit in Austin in like January of 21, maybe. Can't quite remember when that was. I don't know if you were at that one, though.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So it was the Process Camp thing.
Yeah, and I vaguely remember that. Like, I remember Bend, but I don't remember that event so much. But yeah, it's been a while, and I know that not that many events were able to kind of like make it through COVID, and I think even the bureau's having a little bit of a hard time on like how to. It's a tough business to run, to set up an event and pray that people buy tickets when you're already financially committed to a room in a hotel. And yeah, it's just like, it's a lot. So I think Carl's done a really good job of not only maintaining that business, but actually growing through COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really cool to see where the Bureau of Digital has gone, and now with a rebrand, and it's really cool. Greg and I are working with him a little bit on maybe some changes to the Bureau, so I'm kind of excited about that too, but I can't really talk too much about it. Yeah, I'm excited.
Well, I think one of the things that, let's pick on Carl for a minute. Not really pick on him, highlight him, and Lori, obviously, is one of the things that I think that they've been smart to do is to say, as the Bureau changes, we need to change.
Uh-huh.
As this is my whole.
You mean as the industry changes, we need to change?
The industry changes as the membership changes.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true.
My whole thing about like company culture, companies are always like, our culture is this. And I'm like, no, your culture is the sum total of all the people who presently work there. And it changes every time somebody new joins, somebody leaves. For Carl and Lori to stay purposefully adaptable. Is that right? Something like that. To not just saying, here's what the Bureau is, and you can join it as it is. It's here's some core stuff that we're not going to change because that's a good thing to do, but we can adjust these things and to the needs of the membership. And as the membership changes, their needs change. We're going to change too.
Yep.
We should.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I think it's great.
It is. It's not easy. Community even just is, it's hard to be the head of a community. Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hang on one second.
Note to future self, put up the technical difficulties.
Sorry. It's summertime. I'm sorry. It's summertime. So I forgot that I have kids that come and go. Don't have house keys.
That's all right.
God forbid you bring a house key with you.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Prepare yourself for life, kid.
You're locked out for the rest of the day.
That's right.
Yeah, I think like the community thing it's tough. Like, I don't know if you're in any other kind of like online or meet even in-person communities. Like that's kind of a big part of my career trajectory, right? Like I got really invested in the digital PM thing. It started out as me starting a little meetup in Philadelphia that then turned into a conference in Philadelphia that then turned into me going globally to conferences, speaking and hosting. It is so hard to be the person who's continually excited about it and wanting to organize people and events and get ideas and participation. And then you like bring it all online in Slack and it's like messy and chaotic and you get tired of it and burn out. Like I hit that point, I think in 2022 or 23, I was like, okay, Carl, I need a break. Like I can't do this event. Like I think it was 2 years of being online and doing the programming for the Digital PM Summit and then sitting through 2 days of talks in front of Zoom. It's just like taxing. Like that's not fun to me. I actually, for as much as I think I'm introverted, I think I get energy out of being in those spaces, which is not what an introvert is. I get that. But I think it's like as much, I force myself to put myself out there because I know that I get so much more out of just like being in a room with people versus sitting in front of a screen because it's distractions, right? Like I'm not fully paying attention for 8 hours if I'm sitting on a Zoom. If I'm in a room and sitting in front of someone on a stage, I'm more engaged. I'm definitely paying more attention. So yeah, it's interesting. But I think hopefully signs are like those things are starting to creep back a little bit too. I think people to a degree are missing that level of engagement. It's just the economy needs to come back to where people can actually have budgets to do this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And have a understanding at the executive level, that it's, it is a cost, but it's also an opportunity, right?
There's value. There's definitely
there's value there.
Value. And I really liked what you said about culture. Like, I'm with you. Like, your culture isn't something that you dictate. The culture is formed by the people who are there, and there can be microcultures in teams. And how you allow your team to collaborate and educate themselves really does play into that, the positivity of that culture. If you're doing it negatively, if you're not.
Well, I want to be cognizant of time. So I'm gonna put us down the path of 7 plus or minus 2 questions.
Okay.
Ask you some questions, and there's no constraints on your answers. Whatever comes to mind is the right answer.
Okay.
So the first one is, you'll be great. Because again, there's no wrong answer. What's something you did recently that went really well?
We're talking professionally or personally? It does not matter.
No constraint. No constraint
at
all.
What did I do recently that went really well? Oh, I just I've been doing a lot of writing lately, and I just wrote something for 2 people and got amazing feedback, like some of the best feedback I've ever gotten on a writing project. And I was like, okay, maybe I can do that. I have major imposter syndrome, so it felt really good.
Nice. Was it business writing
Business
or
writing.
creative writing?
Business writing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do as much creative writing. I started to try to do that weekly on my blog, and then I quickly like abandoned doing it weekly, but I'll do it every once in a while.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I started to see with my writing that, I'm sorry, I know you're like going down a path of questions. I started to see in my writing that writing more about project management, which I started to get burnout on, actually was good for me in my business. Hence the whole article going crazy. So I'm trying to write more of that. But I journal daily too, just personally, but keeps me creative, I think.
Definitely does. Definitely does. All right, next question. What's something you think people should care more about?
Other people. I think right now we're in a time, particularly in this country's history, where there's a lot of disrespect of people for no reason, for like blanket statements. Don't want to get into all of that, but I think people need to care about people more.
Number 3, when you find yourself in a position to share food with other people that you make, what's your go-to dish?
I don't cook that much.
Okay.
But I would do I love tacos. I make pretty good. I make good easy stuff. I make good tacos. I'll let that be my answer.
Okay. All right. Next question. What is the business value of empathy?
The business value of empathy. Wow, that's just like you using my question on me, like people caring about people. I think there's a huge business value in empathy. I think if you're a leader who's not leading with empathy, you're going to have a team that's less productive or a team that's not running as well as they could, people who are not growing the way that they could because you're not showing that you care for them. But there's a lot of ways that empathy goes, right? It's like, it's not just empathy for employees, it's empathy for customers, users. Yeah, all around, I think empathy is important in day-to-day life, in and out of business. I don't know how you could put an actual number value on it. I don't think that's what you're going for, but maybe that's done out there, is it?
Maybe it's done that someone puts a number behind it.
Like a value.
I mean, probably somebody does.
Yeah. Interesting. Never thought of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
the value's huge. That's my answer.
Yeah. It's huge. Maybe not quantifiable,
right?
But it's huge,
right?
Yeah, right. That's a good enough answer for me.
Okay, good.
All right. So, last question. Imagine that it's a year from now. Cast your mind forward. What do you hope to not be carrying anymore?
My current iPhone, because it's about to die, but also the current stress of work and this industry. Like, I would love for us to get through this and carry on doing the good work that we've been doing pre-COVID or even pre-election, maybe like 6 months before the election. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's the heaviest thing that I'm carrying now is just like work feels like a hard to solve riddle.
You did it.
I did it. Done. I got through all the questions. Cool.
Yeah. So let's stop talking.
Okay. Is that the end of the conversation? End of the recording?